Welcome back to Reading with Miss Michelle. Today we're going to read Disney 5-Minute Halloween Stories, story number 3, Scariest Day Ever, by Leigh Olsen. If you have a copy, go get it so you can read along with me. Don't forget to help us out by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with all of your friends. Disney Pixar Monsters, Inc. Scariest Day Ever. James P. Sulley Sullivan and his best friend Mike Wazowski were on scare duty at Monsters, Inc. Sulley stepped through a door and looked around. There was no one there. Mike, Sulley said, poking his head back through the door. This room's empty. What are you talking about? Mike said, shoving past Sulley into the room. This kid's always asleep by now. Sulley shrugged. I guess we should go back to Monstropolis. I've got lots of other kids to scare tonight. But as Sulley turned toward the door, his tail knocked it shut. Meanwhile, on the scare floor, George Sanderson and his right-hand man Charlie were working the same neighborhood as Mike and Sulley. They saw an activated door, but no one appeared to be manning it. Huh, Charlie said when he saw the unmanned door. Looks like Mike and Sulley accidentally left this one on. We'd better turn it off, George said. It isn't safe to leave a door to the human world active. Back in the human world, Sulley reopened the closet door, but when he did, all he saw was the inside of the closet. The door back to the scare floor isn't working, said Sulley. We're going to have to find another house with a working door, and fast. Mike and Sulley crept through the house and stepped outside. Remember, Sulley said, don't touch anything. Mike nodded. All the monsters knew humans were toxic, but as he looked around, he realized he didn't see any humans. Instead, the streets were full of monsters. What's going on? Mike asked, scratching his head. Are we back in Monstropolis? Suddenly, Mike and Sulley heard a voice behind them. They spun around. A small monster was standing there, peering up at them. I like your costumes, she said before running off. Mike and Sulley looked at each other. Costumes? What could possibly be going on? Mike and Sulley looked back at the street. There weren't only monsters walking around. They also saw a ghost, a black cat, a pumpkin with legs, and all kinds of other creatures. Suddenly, one of the monsters pulled off its face. Mike and Sulley gasped. It wasn't a monster after all. It was a child wearing a mask. They weren't back in Monstropolis. They were surrounded by human children wearing disguises. Sulley did his best to stay calm. We have to find a door back to Monster Inc. now, he said. George is working this neighborhood tonight too, Mike said. If we can catch one of his doors in time, we can get back through. Mike and Sulley tried to find a way inside one of the nearby houses, but it wasn't easy. They had to dodge children left and right, and there were people at the front doors of almost all of the homes. Mike and Sulley managed to sneak into a few houses, but none of the doors inside were powered up. In one house, they got to the bedroom just as George was leaving. George! Mike and Sulley shouted, racing for the open closet door. Wait for us. But they weren't fast enough. George hadn't heard them. Click! The door closed behind him. Mike and Sulley opened the closet door, but there was no scare floor behind it, just a closet filled with children's clothing. Mike and Sulley were beginning to worry. They needed to get back to Monstropolis before one of those kids touched them. It is getting late, Mike said. Do you think any of the doors back to the scare floor are still in use? I sure hope so, Sulley said. Then Mike and Sulley noticed a house with no one around. The front door was flung wide open. Maybe this was their ticket home. Come on, let's go, said Sulley. Mike and Sulley tiptoed into the house, But as they crept toward a door, they heard sounds of talking and laughter. The house wasn't empty like they thought. "Oh no," Sulley said when he realized what was going on. "We're in the middle of a party," Mike exclaimed. "Whoa," said someone behind Mike and Sulley. The two spun around. A boy stood there staring at them. Cool Halloween costumes. Mike and Sulley slowly began to back away. Mike," said Sulley, "it's Halloween." "Oops," said Mike. "I guess I missed that memo." "Hey," the boy called to his friends, "come check out these cool monster costumes." Mike and Sulley shrank backward as a group of children approached them. "Your costumes look so real," a little girl exclaimed. "Can I touch the fur?" She reached a hand towards Sulley. Mike shrieked. "No!" Sulley roared. Sulley had forgotten how big and frightening he was. The kids screamed at the top of their lungs and ran away. But Mike and Sulley were the most terrified of all. "Let's get out of here," Mike shouted. He and Sulley turned and ran. Mike pulled Sulley into the closest bedroom and slammed the door behind them. "Please, please, please let this door work," Mike said. "What are the chances George is using this door?" asked Sulley. "Slim," said Mike, "but we have to try." Mike and Sulley crossed their fingers. Then they opened the closet door and it worked. They walked back onto the scare floor at Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sulley breathed huge sighs of relief. They made it home safe. On the other side, they found George and Charlie. "What are you guys doing coming through this door?" asked George. "I was just about to scare the kid on the other side." "You saved us," said Sulley. "Our door was broken." "Oops," Charlie said. "We thought you left it on by accident and we shut it down. Sorry." "It's okay," Mike said. "We're back now, but whatever you do, do not go through that door." "Why not?" George asked. "It's Halloween and there are kids everywhere," Sulley explained. Mike shivered. Halloween is the scariest day ever. The end. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed listening to this book and I hope you were able to read along with me. Don't forget to help us out by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with all of your friends. I hope you join me next time. Bye.